Thank you very much, Nick. And thank you again, Intellectsoft and everybody. Please meet the great team of Intellectsoft. They're all around you. Our next speaker is Galanter. He is the CEO and founder of Provectus. Provectus joined the partnership with Intellectsoft and By the Bay, I think at a later stage, but it's really amazing to me how quickly they joined. So Yuri, who is here, visiting, he's the CTO. It turns out we clicked immediately on the technical side. They have technical projects which are highly relevant and based on the same thing. And I must say that we basically very quickly established trust between two big companies. And basically my San Francisco company, and then we had to set up a web of trust to make this happen. So I think we demonstrate that trust is actually highly applicable, and I think Provectus has really great technological insights into the blockchain space. So I'm looking forward for Gene to show it to us. Welcome, Gene.
Is this on? It's on. Hello, everyone. Yes, decentralized technologies are disruptive. They cause new business models, new commercial models. They cause innovation. They cause disruption. And we see a lot of innovators around the world who jump on the opportunity to use this technology. My name is Galanter. I've been involved in this technology as an investor and entrepreneur for about 5 years now. We're located in Silicon Valley, so we sort of have a first row seat in what's happening and the kind of thinking and the kind of trends are available that this technology brings. As Nick said prior to this, some of these trends are interesting, some we dislike. In the next 10-15 minutes, I want to share with you some of the interesting opportunities that we see, some of the ones that we're investing personally, that we're passionate about. These opportunities have one common core component in their technological technological concept, and that component, that core element of the system, is I'd like to discuss with you and sort of introduce. I want to pause on this slide for a second to let this image to sink in. Imagine that you have a personal digital vault up in the cloud. It's not a Dropbox, it's not a Google Drive, it's your personal vault up in the cloud, where only you, as the owner of the data in this vault, you have access to this vault, and only you have ability to open the vault, get the data out, and share the information from the vault. In this vault, you want to share your digital assets, those things that are very valuable. In the information age, your data are all digital gold. So this is something that you would put your digital gold into. So think of things like your DNA sequence. Think about your driving records, the details of your driving records. Every time you push the pedal, every time you brake, every time you accelerate, all gets in. Imagine that there is your crypto key from your cryptocurrency is in this vault. So I want this image, sort of, this is an important element of what the rest of it is. This is what enables the rest of the story. So you have the vault. Imagine that we have an ecosystem. Everyone has a vault. We all have our vaults. We all have our vaults with secure information in them. We store them securely. We keep access. We don't share with anyone else. This case that I want to present first is a case for pharmaclinical study case. The rest of these cases are going to be similar, so I want to go in details through this. So let's look at this system of vaults that all of us have. Let's start with the empty vault and see how the data gets in. So this opportunity that all of us have our personal vaults up in the cloud creates a market opportunity for various players that do not have this option today. So it creates an opportunity for companies that want to leverage this common infrastructure and common ecosystem to access our own data. So imagine companies that do a DNA sequencing, that come into this space and they have access to all of our data. So how the DNA sequence actually happens? You as a consumer, you buy or you use the DNA test kit, you do your swab, you supply data to DNA sequencer, they do the sequencing. So they have their algorithm, they have the mathematical models, they do the sequencing of your DNA, and they put the data in your vault. So now you have a unique copy of your DNA sequence in your vault, only you have the data. All of us do, actually. All of us have this sequence, all of us have the data in the vault because we all did the swab. Imagine how much the insurance company, medical insurance company or pharmaceutical company would rule over this data if they could get hold of it. So obviously, for clinical studies, they want to find candidates that match their clinical study at the best of their ability. So they find yet another player we introduced to this marketplace, which is basically a machine learning algorithms companies that provide analytics across this entire ecosystem. So these are basically Googles. Think of them as Googles of DNA. So the pharma company, let's say, conducts Alzheimer drug tests. They want to find candidates for their clinical study. So they have the idea what DNA profile would best match their interests. They want to find perfect candidates. So the machine learning companies can go now and providing that this vault's owner would wish to participate in such a search, they would provide access basically to their vault and ability to search through their data. As the result, you would identify, the machine learning companies would identify the candidates and offer them to participate in the study, and obviously the participant can accept the offer and get included in the study. So all of us can do it. So as a result, we basically created an ecosystem of the participants where, due to having this vault, secure vault, and having complete access to the content of the vault and being able to share this content across the ecosystem, we created a market for all new players, reducing the cost and improving lives of people getting medical study, medical test more accurate. Behavior-based auto policy. Similar model. We all have our vaults. We have our DNA data in it. Your car becomes now a source of the data. The way you drive, the way you accelerate. Think about how much insurance company would pay to know how much you're driving. Today, they're doing sort of an approximation, and they actually figure out their risk profiles, but it's very approximate. Your Tesla car would feed your driving patterns. It would feed your brakes, acceleration. It would know if you drove 60 miles per hour in a 45-mile zone. It will have all of this data inside. All of us will. So now, not only it's the system of DNA records, it's also a system of your driving records, which is basically your DNA, your driving DNA. So the story goes the same way. Insurance companies, our insurance companies would like to find perfect candidates and perfect pricing for their policies. How do they find it? They ask machine learning companies, find me the people in this area that are safe drivers. I want to offer them personalized insurance. So this is basically an opportunity to do so. Candidate selected, candidate accepts offer, company sold insurance. So yet another example. You can go on and find a lot more models where the system is relevant. The point here is that we're creating marketplaces. It's a new kind of business modeling platform where you can create relationship between multiple parties and use this data, consumer-owned data in the middle with the complete control over the content. So it effectively offers new business models. It's compliant by design, obviously very important in this setting, because the customer has a control over its data and has a choice who the data gets shared with. by definition, it's a design, it's a compliant by design. These models improve people's life. They offer more accurate drugs testing. You will get better insurance quotes. This is what makes us very excited about these models. This is why we get engaged. This is why we're involved. This is why we're building technology to support these business models. And we have a few examples where we've done this. Very quickly about us, we're in Palo Alto, California. We're about 8-year-old company, 450 employees. Specialties and machine learning, decentralized technologies, and crypto security. That's about us. Thank you.